Artificial intelligence, I'd say mainly probably in the, we could for both, but I'd say mainly in the virtual reality space.
Yeah.
I think AR, augmented reality, is going to be a great resource for like hospitals, for certain industries,
Yeah.
Like mechanics, for, people, supply chain, be able to like see, like enhanced, like Iron Man shit, bro. Like,
Dude, this is going to be like Superman shit where you can see like some naked.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, maybe, I don't know if there's a
I'm not trying to get really mature right now, but like, oh hell,
that is augmented reality.
I don't want nobody looking at my wife in the future. Like, take them glasses off,
Take
son.
the glasses off. I see what you're doing.
Whoa, you got the naked mode on my wife. So, Adversity Kings, episode 6. Awesome, phenomenal, superstar, GOAT guest out of Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Not originally out of Chicago, but out of Chicago currently. We got Landon Campbell, right?
Yep, Landon Campbell, like the soup.
Like the soup. So we got Landon as our guest today, and I actually had the opportunity to speak with you a few times, did a little feature, did a little podcast ourselves.
Of course.
So in addition to that, let's just jump right back into you, and I like to always just kind of open up with where were the origins? So
the origin story
from?
Got me sounding like a superhero, bro.
Yeah.
So born and raised in the Bay Area.
Yep.
My entire life, and kind of had like this, itch to like get out of California for college. So I ended up going to DePaul University, moved to Chicago, knew nobody. So 2,000 miles away from home, no friends.
Where'd you go to Chicago? Where you like? You looked at a map and was like Chicago.
Bro, so like Chicago, to be honest, like from the perspective of someone from California, no one really visits the Midwest. The Midwest doesn't get a lot of love. It's all about, the New York, Florida.
West Coast and East Coast.
Exactly.
Both like
the West Coast. Yeah. But I visited and I just fell in love with it, man. I just saw so much potential. And obviously, I could have never predicted a lot of this stuff that I've been able to do and build here in the city, but like I knew just like this is my place to do it.
So when you say Bay Area, for those of us that like aren't smart,
what
city is that?
So Bay Area is considered San Francisco, Oakland, and a few other smaller cities. But if anybody,
SoCal, right?
Exactly, yeah. If anybody,
took me forever to figure that out.
NorCal actually.
That's that's NorCal, right?
Yes, that's NorCal. Yeah.
Okay.
SoCal is like LA and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But if anybody says they're from the Bay and they're not from Oakland, SF. Bullshit.
What do you like more?
Shit, man. Like out of LA and the Bay, for sure the Bay. I think LA, like I have a lot of family in LA. I've been there a lot of times, but excluding my family, I feel like just LA creates some bad energy sometimes. You gotta find your group, but like for the most part, I just.
Where are all these homeless people talk about?
San Francisco.
That's where you are.
Yeah. So, all right. Oakland. I'm from the Oakland area where we have some homeless, but it's really bad in San Francisco.
Like it's really bad.
Bro, I just brought my boys to the Bay like to visit for the first time for my birthday in January.
Yeah.
I was with my parents. We were just like out like walking around the city, broad daylight. This guy just like rolls up right behind us and starts smoking crack. Like just right next to us. Like first off, like okay, if you're gonna do it, like go do it over there. Like
don't bring your crack over here, Jerry.
No. So that was nuts.
Especially without sharing.
Exactly. Yeah. At least offer to my mom.
So it's a huge problem.
It is. It's a really big problem, and it's a problem for multiple reasons, man. The leadership is one thing in California. Not every leader is bad, but I mean there are a lot of leaders that don't have the best intentions, especially in the Bay. And also, we have like these pockets of like just high wealth. I mean, think Facebook, all these companies that were built in the Bay, man, like Silicon Valley.
Such a huge difference. It's like I feel like Cali's like you're rich or you're homeless.
Exactly, which is sad. It's ironic and sad. Like, I mean, why is this like per capita, like most billionaires in the country? I don't want to put this out right now because I might be wrong, but like might argue like in the world, but like how do we have so much, poverty? It's unfortunate. So
absolutely.
One day we can find or like have a leader that's able to like figure that out. Maybe me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that. And I think for me, like, especially this weekend, being around so many like highly successful individuals, I went to that Maxwell event and we were chopping it up a little bit about that. But like, so the the previous governor of Tennessee was there, multi-billion-dollar dude, but he starts getting speaking in regard to kind of the core of leadership and correspondence with politics and where it kind of differs and goes wrong. And exactly like you said, the intentions and agendas of any leader, whether you're leading your high school football team or you're leading a state, a country, whatever it might be, if your agenda isn't to serve the greater good of the people, and people typically get deceived by media, and you're probably like me. I don't really watch like Fox News or I don't really watch news.
I'm in the middle, bro.
With politics.
Exactly. I get my news off Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Twitter, like friends, like, hey, did you hear this? Is this true? Like me, like my news is Joe Rogan. So like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm always taking like a new vitamin or something because I believe everything that Joe Rogan says.
Bro,
just the doctors.
He's a goat.
There's a lot of credible people he brings on there, so I get a lot of stuff from there. But if in that position, from what you know, like, what would be your, because I'm curious about it, I'm thinking like, what would be your solution for ending or just bringing Cali back around?
Of course. Well, first off, like right before we get there, you just brought up a great thing, with Joe Rogan. I want to point something out, man, because I feel like I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited like where we're at right now. When you look at media, the lens of media, I don't think the power is in the legacy media company anymore. It's not in the CNNs, it's not in the Fox. That's why they're trying so desperate. Well, because guess who's going to be taking over? The people like Joe Rogan's, the individual, the creators, us, bro.
Yes.
I mean, like having a podcast and audience and community, like that's going to count for so much. So kind of weaving that into your question, like, someone with a strong platform that's able to like actually be doing it for good. I mean, like that's what it's really going to take.
Yeah.
I mean, anything but politics is a dirty game, man. And I have respect for a lot of politicians. I've had a bunch of my podcasts and they're genuine, nice people, but there are some that I also see, and you just like see the bullshit right away. I mean, I was in student government in college, bro. I was a vice president of DePaul, and even on that level, it was dirty. Like it was,
hell yeah.
Yeah, man, like some power hungry
kids
people.
trying to take your throne.
Exactly.
Did you see Landon?
Yeah. Like,
he was smoking crack in the bay with Jerry.
Exactly. That's something, smear campaigns everywhere.
Yeah.
But, man, there are good politicians, though. Andrew Yang, like, you know Yang, or what he's been, so he's like...
I love saying yes to everything people say, but I'm not going to
you should check him out. You're gonna like,
I don't know Andrew.
Maybe get him on the podcast, but he is a, like, former businessman.
Okay.
He was a presidential candidate. He ran Democrat, but now he just created his own party called the Forward Party.
Yes. That just sounds dope.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah, no. He does a lot of things that I support. Overall, like, we understand that a lot of people are going to be losing jobs over the next, decade due to like robotics and like, artificial intelligence.
Dude,
so,
the book I'm reading.
Exactly, bro. So he's trying to like help people like figure out, like get more people involved in coding, get more people involved in like skills, building their skills. So like those are issues that like are actually important.
Yes.
Like not like we could go on about so much unimportant shit that people are always talking about on Capitol Hill, but like, I don't know. I support the politicians that like are actually, as you said, trying to make a difference for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like just removing like, why are there groups and teams when it comes to politics? And I kind of pride myself in not talking about politics, but it's kind of like I think it's irresponsible leadership when you avoid obvious problems. And I think with that it's like, what? But again, I'm like, why the heck are there teams? Why isn't it just like if we're gonna make a team, why don't we call it like human?
One team, exactly.
One team,
yeah. Like, why not? Yeah, America.
I just want, it's like it should just be America. Like let's just vote for the greater good of people being alive, healthy, and well.
You know why though? People are humans naturally like it's called binary thinkers. We love to see like this versus that.
Yeah.
It's impossible to just have like one common goal. And like sometimes we do have that, but like everybody appreciates competition.
It's kind of how we're wired.
It's how we're wired.
That fight or flight mentality is kind of reverting back
this
to like,
or that.
Here's how we were like just kind of created over the years. We've kind of evolved into, but that never leaves where we came from. Of like, these are my sticks and this is my mammoth that I killed.
Shit hasn't really changed for the most part. It's pretty much the same. It's crazy, man.
So that kind of sidetracked us from where I wanted.
I love how we started the conversation with that, though. It's important.
But I love it. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll grab somebody's attention. But again, this is the second episode or sixth episode. Somebody's going to hear it, so no one's going to listen except you. But in addition to that, I'm thinking, what was growing up for you like in the Bay Area? Like, what was growing up for you?
Of course, man. So, like, I appreciated it for multiple reasons. And fuck, where do I even start with this? First off, like, I've always had so much respect, for entrepreneurship. Like, that's what pushes this country forward.
What inspired that? Was it mom?
Being around it, really. I mean, just in the Bay, bro. I mean, I mentioned like the Facebooks and all these companies. Yeah, I mean, we are our area. We have a lot of great innovation coming out of the Bay. And just being around that.
Is Zuckerberg in the Bay?
So Zuckerberg's in the Bay.
But you realize the real dogs are in Seattle.
So we do have the Bill Gates and we do have the Bezos, you're right, in Seattle. But you know, like there are like a lot of companies like in the Bay Area.
Where's Musk?
Twitter. Musk started like, you know, in the Bay and stuff. And now he's in Texas. And that's the interesting thing. Like a lot of people are leaving the Bay because
they're leaving, going to Texas.
Miami, Texas, New York. That's what I'm kind of seeing trends right now.
Why would they go? New York's even worse.
So New York is a big crypto hub right now, bro. Yeah. And that's also something we can dive in and talk about later.
We got to educate because we need to spend like 15-20 minutes just because
we will.
Crypto.
But I was just in New York and like there was this huge like week-long event called NFT NYC.
Do you have any NFT?
So I don't have any NFTs personally, but like I'm very involved in the space. I understand them. I just like, you know, the thing with NFTs, and we'll get into the conversation, but you want to find some like a project that you support that you think is going to grow over time, and that, you know, you can identify with as well. Like, you know, there are a lot of cool projects out there. I just haven't found a piece that, like, you know, I
feel like the only NFTs that are truly going to have value and grow are going to correspond with people's fame.
Exactly.
So it's like you're not really buying, you know, a cool piece of work. You're investing into a human that has built up a lot of fame. It's like Michael Jordan owned this NFT, so now I'm going to pay $100,000. Where it's like if I own that NFT, somebody would charge me for me selling it to him. Yeah. They'd be like, give me $10.
Keyword on investment though. Like that's the huge good word that you mentioned when it comes to the NFT space. And a lot of people need to realize that, you know, they see these images and they're all like, I could just screenshot this, whatever. But no, like when you buy an NFT, that's an investment into a community, into a creator. If we made a Adversity Kings NFT like right now, it would be for people to like join the journey because they believe that, you know, this podcast is going to be a top ranked show one day and you're going to continue to have good guests on and it's going to grow. So like that's what's unique about the space. But also like the reason why NFTs are so relevant right now, like in the age of the internet, is because it's just actual proof. You know, there's an online ledger that shows like that this person owns this. And like, yes, you can take a screenshot of it or whatever. But at the end of the day, like your name is on that. So I'm excited to see like not just with art and images, but NFTs are going to shake up the music industry. They're going to shake up real estate. They're going to shake up a lot of industries, man, just because, again, it gives people more ownership over their internet property.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So who was the biggest influences for you growing up as we piece this puzzle together?
Damn, like, do they have to be people I know or can they just be anybody?
Don't matter.
All right, well, Steve Jobs, I mean, 100%.
Yeah. When did you latch on to him? How old were you?
Like young, man. And, like, being able to interview the co-founder of Apple was a dream come true. Because, you know, Jobs, like, I've just always been, like, obsessed with, like, how he thinks. And obviously, you know, he wasn't, like, a coder. He wasn't, like, the smartest guy in the room. But, like, he just, like, the slogan that he famously came up with was think different. And, like, also, like, just he was constantly looking for ways to make things easier for people. Simplicity. We see that in the products, you know, like, they're still, like, just very easy to use. In a time where, like, you know, there were a lot of these computers coming out and like they were just very difficult to use. They were A, like very expensive, and B, like only for like an elite group of people, like you know, the smart people that could understand how to use them. So he just wanted to open you know, access to technology to everybody, and that's something that I try and do in my everyday life, bro. Like, you know, I've been able to interview some great people on my show, and I just feel like, why would I want to just hold that to myself? Let me share it to everybody. Everybody deserves access to unique things. If you're able to be influenced by something, everybody should be able to also be influenced by that.
Facts.
Yeah.
So sports growing up, were you involved in like sports, like as this discipline and this entrepreneurial mindset of like, you know, working first and playing later? Because obviously, you know, you've had this since a young age. So like, where's this all come about?
So I did play some sports. I played lacrosse. I played, you know, some sports, but actually, like, I'd say like majority of my creativity, you know, like communication. I was pretty involved in theater. I was a director and shit, you know, growing up. And like I've been able to.
You had a lot of vision. I mean, you can see before others can see. 100%. That's one of the biggest things that Maxwell says, and that's one of my favorite mentors. Is just when it comes to leadership, it's like leaders see before others see. You sound like a visionary, and clearly just a phenomenal leader as well. So it's like seeing before others see. So you believe that creativity kind of corresponded with your love of theater and directing and getting into that.
Another thing with directing too, like you never want to like tell the actor you need to feel this. you need to do this.
Yeah.
Instead, you need to like create the environment around them
for them
to help them get there themselves.
Right.
So I think that doesn't just have to be for theater. Like that can be for anything, bro. Like, you lead a team. Like
yeah.
you can, you know, give people the skills they need. You can tell them, you know, like this is what you should be doing in the role. But at the end of the day, like if your dogs aren't hungry, if they're not trying to go out there and win deals and make money, like there's only so much you can do as a leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then that just you feel like your vision and your clear why kind of fuels your discipline and your work ethic. You know what I mean? Is there anything else that kind of like fuels that, encourages that? Because that's what people miss. Is because a lot of people have a dream, and you know, Simon and I say it all the time. It's like everybody wants to do this and everybody wants to have that, but very few are willing when it comes down to actually paying the price. Like we could all say, leave here right now, let's go get a Lamborghini. Yeah. But there's no negotiations when it comes to like luxury lifestyle. Of course. You know what I mean? Like Lamborghinis don't go on sale. There isn't like, hey, look, this Lamborghini's 20% off. Like brand new. Here's the price you can pay, or you can get the hell out. You know what I mean? So it's like
I feel that.
When it comes to that, I feel like when I look at individuals and where they miss the mark, usually it's in the details, or it's a lack of discipline as well. Yeah. So you know, is there anything else that you would say contributes to people having discipline and just focusing on those details, opposed to having a very clear vision of like where are you going, what needs to get done for you to get there, and why do you want to do it?
Of course, bro. I'm not fearful of failure. I think that's another big thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, well, just to give background to the audience, because I keep talking about the podcast, let me give a quick synopsis. So, like, I interview successful people to talk about their 20s. So, like, not just, like, you know, what they have now, but, like, what they did to get to where they are today. So, like, you know, the mistakes they made, the risks that they took, the failures. So, on the subject of failure, you know, a lot of people are always asking me, like, what are some common themes of, you know, the interview guests that you've had on? You know, the Steve Wozniaks, the Ev Williams, the Beto O'Rourkes. And a lot of these people, bro, and just successful people in general, they're not afraid of failure. They're able to put themselves out there. They're able to try new things. And if an idea doesn't work out, yeah, it sucks. No one wants to fail. But at the end of the day, like, you're able to learn from that experience. Absolutely. And a lot of people don't start projects because they're scared they're going to fail, which is ironic. You haven't started it yet. Like, that means you failed. So, yeah, you got to start it. And I think the people that fear failure ultimately are the ones that do fail in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's fire. So you talk about theater, you talk about your vision, kind of starting with that, the Bay Area. Getting into, was there anything that kind of inspired you to get into theater and being like, well... Yeah. Bro,
I just, like, have always loved the art of being able to, like, you know, help people feel certain ways, you know, different emotions and stuff. And I've seen all sides of theater. I used to act, I wrote plays, and I just really found love for directing, though, mainly. I mean, you know, I've always been, like, the CEO mentality, like, you know, not because I'm a fucking control addict, but no, because I actually like, you know, like just putting the pieces together and not always getting credit for it. I was completely fine being, like, you know, backstage and letting the actors, you know, be in the limelight because it was just amazing, like, being able to turn something from nothing into, like, you know, a masterpiece.
All the best actors, like, directors as well. Like, some of my favorite movies, when I'm seeing some of these actors, like, evolve now, like, when I'm watching, like, new, like, Brad Pitt movies, anything with these, like, great actors, Scarlett Johansson, all these guys, like, it seems like when the credits come, like, they had part to do with the directing. Yeah. Like, so, a large part. Like, they were one of the main directors. So
100%. It's difficult, like, to direct and act, and I've seen that a few times. Like, you know, people will, like, have a movie and, you know, they'll star in it and direct it. That's tough because directing, bro, like, it's difficult because not only do you have to understand, like, what you need to be doing as an actor, but, like, you need to be able to understand what everybody is feeling, what everybody's doing. And there are a lot of directors that, like, you know, aren't able to go on stage. You know, they're very quiet people. You know, they're not good at acting. But at the end of the day, like, your vision needs to be so high def. Like, you need to be able to, like, know exactly, like, what actors need to be feeling at any given moment. But again, like, the beauty in it is not telling them what to do. You know? The beauty is, like, trying to get them to follow a certain path.
Who's the best director in the world?
Ooh, that's a really good question. For film, that's a loaded question, man. I mean, Steven Spielberg obviously, like, has created some amazing pieces. Quentin Tarantino,
fire.
Yeah, it just depends, like, on the, you know, type of genre we're talking, but I mean,
let's just jump right. Because this is my favorite question to ask. I usually ask it at the end.
Favorite movie?
Yeah, your favorite. Is there, like, a top 3?
That's a great question.
Because I've got, like, a top 17.
I kind of have a top 3. I'd say that The Departed is one of my favorites.
Fire.
With Leo and Matt Damon, like, fire movie. American Psycho and Scarface
Actually, put that
are
on
like
my list.
also really, really good.
I put people's favorite movies in my notes.
Shutter Island, bro. I mean, there are so many good movies. It's difficult to pick top 3, but I'd say actors is a little more easier for me. Like, I love Denzel.
Dude,
I love Al Pacino.
Dude, so you love Denzel, but how is it the top 3 not
Training Day.
Training Day?
In my top 3. My top 3, yeah.
Or Equalizer?
Equalizer is a good ass movie,
It's
but
a great movie.
not my top 3. I'd rather pick John Wick. Have you seen John Wick?
John Wick.
Yeah.
They're both. I think they're both
good.
fire.
All right, who would you rather go against? John Wick. Wait, I'll a third one. Liam Neeson from Taken.
Yeah.
So imagine he just gets his daughter taken away.
Yeah.
Would you rather go after him, John Wick, or what's the third one? Denzel and Equalizer.
So I would say the one I wouldn't want to go after would probably be if I like ranked it, it'd probably be like don't want to go after John. I feel like he's just he's the most technical devil. He can't be killed. Then Denzel, and then would be Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's pretty good. But bro, Denzel and the Equalizer, like that was
fire.
I don't think
and
he
they're coming
got
out with
hit.
another John Wick.
Yeah, no. I saw. I've been seeing some set photos for that.
Another Matrix, another John Wick.
Bro, he's a really cool guy. I don't know his story exactly, but
Keanu
Keanu
Is it
Reeves.
Keanu?
I think it's Keanu.
I'm about to say Caillou.
But no, he's a sick actor,
You know
bro.
how
He's
annoying that guy shit
a
was?
cool ass guy.
When I would hear Caillou come up, like even as a young ass child.
Was that your favorite show, girl?
No, dude. I was like on game as a child. Like I hated the sound of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hated that show. I don't even think I was allowed to watch TV. Like growing up, I grew up in the South.
Yeah.
And I watched Animal Planet. If I was allowed, then I was just forced to be outside. So that was pretty
That's
much
a southern hospitality right there.
Right, dude? But I love these directors. I
Yeah.
love, and I'll put the movie
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So you
The
said
Departed
The
is for sure like one of my top movies.
Fire movie.
I just like movies that take you on a journey. And like just are nonstop. from the
Highly
beginning.
involved.
Yeah. Did you like
Yeah.
Uncut Gems? Have you seen that?
I think is.
With Adam Sandler?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah,
I think it was a good movie.
Yeah, not like one of my favorites, but
Yeah,
I thought
but
that
it's
was really
still
good. Yeah, that was a good movie.
I love. So obviously, you kind of get worried about like meeting kind of like your idols. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like from the vibe I get, I feel like he's just a dope ass dude. I feel like he's got a good heart.
Bro, for sure. That would be sick.
I mean?
He just plays basketball in New York and stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Casually,
I think he's just
we
like,
could probably meet him.
I always see like pictures of him like just wearing like
Hooping.
just like having a ball, like carrying around a jar of pickles or something. Just
Bro,
nuts.
yeah, that photo was so weird. I just saw that.
Humble.
So
I get just like this humble vibe from him.
yeah.
Like just seems like a humble, cool dude. Those are the best people who could be.
What's your
around.
favorite Adam Sandler movie?
That's like a loaded question. That's
Yeah.
such a great ass question. So I feel like, for me, I think I watched The Longest Yard.
Yeah, that's a good
lot
one.
as a kid, but at the same time, I think as like a funny movie, say like Billy Madison.
Billy Madison's a good one.
What's your favorite Adam?
Maybe Click, bro.
Click's a good
Yeah,
movie too.
that's kind of like a crazy movie though. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I think they meant to like make it funny, but it ended up like being pretty sad. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
But I respect it. It was a good movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Bigger meaning as well.
What was another one of his funny movies? My God, blank.
Oh, yeah, me too. Not Adam Sandler, but like the other guys. I love Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
The other guys is a great movie. Step Brothers.
Step Brothers go to.
That's
That's
some good
hilarious.
movies. Yeah,
Hilarious. Deadpool movies. I love the Deadpool movies.
those movies are good.
So, and who's that actor?
Ryan Reynolds.
I love that.
He's
dude.
funny.
So he just did a movie called Guy. I wasn't gonna watch it. Free Guy.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a great movie, and he directed it too. So
Oh, wow.
now he's
So
the
that's
main
a perfect
character.
example. Yeah,
exactly.
that's tough. Like that's
main
difficult.
character and directs the movie, and it's a great movie.
Wow, I haven't
It's a
seen
great
it.
movie.
I did read something a few weeks ago that like after that movie came out, he put out a statement that he's kind of done like
Yeah.
movies for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that probably goes to show you like he had to do so much because he probably produced it as well. So
Yeah.
he was directing, producing, and acting. And
Yeah.
like it's a triple threat. That's what we coach
A
with.
go-to funny combo I feel like is The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, they're a good group.
They're good. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say they're like up there with excellent,
Yeah.
but from like what other people could produce compared to what they produce, I think they're definitely a good group when it comes to movies.
Yeah, bro, that would be a great person to meet. I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
So since on my podcast I interview successful people, if you had the 3 people
Oh, man.
that you could meet and have a 30-minute conversation with, who and why?
Dude, that's such a hard ass question.
I can go first if you want, because I
Yeah.
already got my 3.
Yeah, go for it. This is something that I'm like ashamed that I haven't really thought
Yeah.
out more of. Like I already met like like just my mentor alone right now that I'm partners with in business.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he would kind of supersede everything just because of how much he's done for me
Of
on
course.
a personal level.
Yeah.
But go with your 3. I'm gonna think of 3.
So my 3, like I've already like thought about how the conversation's gonna go in my head. Like I've already I might be able to like make them happen in the future at the pace that we're doing with the podcast right now. But I mean, Elon, obviously.
Yeah.
He lived in a YMCA in his 20s. Like.
Yep.
Became the most richest person in the world.
Yep.
Is like a good rich guy too. Like Bezos has done so much for society, and I love him. But like Elon, like bro, he's trying to like get our species like forget like he's trying to like actually help us out like a lot.
Yeah.
People don't give him enough credit. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
My number 2. I mean, he's like just one of my inspirations, and he's just so not just funny, but like so like socially just intelligent, like just how he speaks and the content that he speaks about as well. I mean, really good. And number 3, I think I'm going to go with Kanye. That would be a crazy conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun.
So I think I knew immediately who I would want to meet. I think it would be Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm torn between, because I'm so obsessed with Elon and Jeff, but I don't know how the conversation would go. So I'm like, I feel like Elon, I think I would go with Elon over Jeff.
Yeah.
And then Michael Jordan.
That would be a good one.
But I think that conversation I'd be, intimidated by as well. Because I feel like he'd just be like, shut the fuck up.
Have you seen all this like hate that Scottie Pippen's been doing?
I know. I feel bad. I don't know. You never know, like, all the sides of the story. But I kind of feel bad, though I feel like even if I feel disrespected or something like that, I feel like I'm going to just kind of just like call.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I know there's levels.
Yeah, I know.
They're on a way different levels.
We're not friends with those. I actually did meet Scottie once though. In Chicago, bro. It was All-Star Weekend. Yeah. I went to Soho House. It was like this place in Chicago, and I'm like walking, and like I look to my right and I double take, because like when you like see something but you don't believe it. Scottie Pippen by himself at a table with like just 4 girls our age probably, just having he had this white turtleneck on, shades in the club. And just was like chilling, dude. And I was just like, wow.
Is he not married?
So he was married, but he got a divorce. Remember, I think his ex got with Future or something like that.
My God, dude.
But I shook his hand and everything. I said, yo, like, big fan. And I just had interviewed Tim Hardaway Sr. on my podcast. So I told him about the episode, and he was a nice guy, really nice guy. Yeah. It's funny though, like and he has that brand though. Like, he hangs out with a lot of younger women.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty set on those 3. I want to throw in a woman as well.
Oh, dude, Oprah would be mine.
Oprah?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't say that out there to just be like, oh, I got to diversify. I'm just,
no, I mean, we just gave 3. So
exactly. I honestly just genuinely, I'm thinking like who's like highly successful, respectable, and
Ariana Huffington Post would be great.
I can only think of Rihanna right now.
Rihanna, yeah.
Isn't she a billionaire?
Bro, yeah, she just hit billionaire
status. She just hit billionaire
Crazy
status.
that, like, she's a genius as well. Like,
genius.
Like, I mean,
adversity.
I love the pivot that people are able to make. Like, they're so good at something, but, like, you're able to, like, do other things that, like, are still related to the brand. Like, great musician, but, like, makeup and lingerie was, like, pretty smart move for her. Like, that was just... Yeah. And Jay-Z's the same way, man. Like, he great at music, but, like, diversified so well. Very difficult to do. Not everybody can do it, but, like, if you can...
I'd probably get a lot of slack, but I'd say even, like, Kylie Jenner. I just think if you can, like, get into the possession of billions of dollars, I don't really care how you get it, if it's inherited and you don't lose it all.
Because it's easier to lose it all.
It's easier to lose. So I think everybody deserves a certain level of respect, regardless of people's opinions of, oh, you know what I mean, you're a trust fund baby, this, that, whatever. Yeah. It's like, our kids are going to be in a great position, so it's like, I don't want somebody talking shit on my child, and I hope, I feel like it's kind of like saying, like a certain group of people are bad people. You know what I mean? It's like there's individually bad people and there's individually good people.
Of course, with anything.
With anything. You know what I mean? So we can't just label and classify everybody as certain things.
Yeah, because it's so easy to do that, man. Yeah. Like, it's so easy to just, like, put groups of people together and say, hey, like, all these people think the same, but, like, no, and like there are so many examples for that. But, like,
facts.
People probably listening, understanding, know what I'm saying. Like, we just can't group people together, and like it's that simple. Because everybody's individual, everybody's unique, as an individual. And personally, I would have a conversation like with anybody, bro. Like
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean I have to agree with you, but like I will.
Every opportunity that you open your ears is an opportunity to learn.
Exactly.
You're learning something you don't want to do, you want to do, or you just really don't care. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. We would be like way better as a species if we could just listen better.
Absolutely.
And like you got to lead with listening first. And someone that used to work for gave great advice. He's a leader that I respected. He told me that the best leaders are always the last ones in the room to speak.
Dude, I was literally just gonna share the advice I got from Maxwell, and he said 2 words, and this is really powerful. He said, "Just talk last."
Yeah.
Talk last.
Literally, because you can just like see, hear, and learn so much just by doing that. And that's a big skill that we gotta teach that to more people.
Absolutely, dude.
Maybe that's the title of the episode. Listen first.
Listen first, dude. So, and speaking of listening, let's all listen real quick in regard to so how the fuck does this crypto thing work, dude? Like,
that's a loaded question as well. Like, what parts of it?
I hear blockchain, I hear mining, I hear Dogecoin, Shiba Huba Hiba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea.
Of course. All right. Well, first off, let me give my statement. I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure to do your own research before you go in. Don't just go dropping bans on Doge without doing research. But I mean, let me give this explanation because again, there's a lot within crypto. The internet. So like we're children of the internet, bro. Like I mean, when we came up, like the internet was really starting to pop off. So I like to think about the internet in 3 different ways. We have Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. Web 1 was like the first iteration of the internet. So like there were publishers that would put content on the internet. The average consumer, you and I, like we couldn't add to the internet. It's just a resource. It was a dictionary. Like we just go, shit's already there. That's it. Web 2, which is what we've been on for like the past, decade plus. We have opportunities to be contributors to the internet. We can post content, we can create websites, we can build brands. So that's Web 2. This is the age of social media. This is the age of the creator, the influencer. This is, the age of, the internet that we've come to know it. Web 3 is, where we're going in the future. It's going to be the next iteration of the internet. And it just means more ownership over your intellectual property, over...
So the web is evolving.
The web is evolving. And crypto has a big space to play in that because crypto is the currency of the internet.
What backs crypto?
So that's another big thing as well. The blockchain is what crypto is run on. And there are many different crypto projects. So you obviously know Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I like to think of it as Bitcoin's like a gold. So, it's something that's going to increase in value over time, something that you can hold on to. But then you have things like Ethereum. You have things like Solana.
What separates these?
Yeah, so these are different projects. They're different coins of the sort. But if Bitcoin is the gold, Ethereum, for example, is the gas. So you can use Ethereum to build apps. You can use Ethereum to build communities. You can use Ethereum online, all online.
What would an online community be?
So there are something now, we're about to give your listeners a whole lot of information. There are things right now called DAOs. They're decentralized autonomous organizations. So it's pretty much a collective of individuals. You pay a certain amount of crypto, or Ethereum, etc., to get ownership within this community. And once you're a part of that community, there's no hierarchy. The community can do whatever they want. There's one DAO, for example, that just purchased. Did you ever hear about that Wu-Tang album? Like the one Wu-Tang album?
I think very, very...
So Wu-Tang put out an album like a few years ago. One copy. It's not public. And like no one's listened or like heard it. But this DAO, this community that's run completely through crypto, collectively purchased the Wu-Tang album. So now they own the rights of that album, which is going to increase over time.
It's like an online collaborative buying force.
Exactly.
That's what a DAO is.
Yeah, so that's what a DAO is.
How do you say it again?
Decentralized Autonomous Organization is what it's called.
Okay.
So just thinking about like many, organizations now, there's a big hierarchy. There are people at the top, boards, etc., like make majority of the money, as they should good. But, there are a lot of people getting left out that, are part of these organizations. So if you're at a DAO, there's no hierarchy. Everybody has control over the decisions that are made. So if we want to purchase, a car, through the DAO, we can do that. But like, there's voting power, etc. But it's just a nice concept that there's no hierarchy. I think it's really cool.
So it really is an online community where you unite your online currency to create that community.
Exactly.
Like a whole community.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. So that's like the first side of like crypto. The second side, we see Facebook just rebranded their name to Meta.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are investing into virtual reality and augmented reality. Dude, I think the world in 10 years is going to look very different.
Absolutely.
We already spent
Ready Player One is a great movie.
Yes. Yeah. So I love that movie, and I love that you brought that up. Ready Player One, that's like one, world. I think in our lifetime, we're gonna have like multiple different worlds. Where like you could go somewhere else, I could go somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's why we see all these like communities that already exist, in the world. I just got a funny example from someone I work with. So QAnon, like the crazy like group of people. A little bit vaguely. Okay. Maybe. So there are like just interesting groups, in this country that, like are bonded over their shared beliefs.
Yeah.
QAnon being one. I mean, there are others. That's just the example I'm choosing to give. But can you imagine like how exciting it's going to be for them to be able to like leave our reality and like just go somewhere where like they're only surrounded by people that believe and support them?
Yeah.
Because obviously,
what do they believe in? So everybody knows
like
what we're
extremists, pretty much values and stuff. Which that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But like there are so many groups that are just going to be so excited to like get out of this world and like go do their own shit. So I think that in 10 years.
What's the difference between virtual reality, and I'm sorry to cut you off, and augmented
No, of course,
reality?
great question. So augmented reality changes the current reality that we're in. So if I had augmented reality glasses, I'd be able to like see your name right here. I'd be able to see like like your birthday. I'd be able to like.
And virtual reality is
it takes you somewhere completely new. Yes.
Augmented is
it augments the current reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like more?
That's a great question. Because we see like different companies are investing in different things. Facebook or Meta, they're investing heavily into virtual reality.
Yeah.
Apple is investing into augmented reality, and they're trying to do things there. I think that. First off, I don't know if they're gonna like completely be able to coexist. Like they're just like so different, and like I feel like people are gonna either
they would compete.
They're gonna exactly. So
and how artificial intelligence would it play a role into these two?
Artificial intelligence, I'd say mainly probably in the we could for both, but I'd say mainly in the virtual reality space.
Yeah.
I think AR, augmented reality, is gonna be a great resource for like hospitals, for certain industries.
Yeah.
Like mechanics, for people, supply chain, to be able to like see, like enhanced, like Iron Man shit, bro. Like,
dude, is this gonna be like Superman shit where I can like, you can see like some naked.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know if there's a
I'm not trying to get really mature right now, but I'm like, oh hell.
That is augmented reality.
I don't want nobody looking at my wife in the future. Like, take them glasses off,
Take them glasses off. I see what you're doing.
Whoa, you got the naked mode on my wife.
Yeah, dude, the world is gonna be crazy in 10 years. But at the end of the day, like, we're already like we spend 6 hours plus on our phones a day, bro. We're already living virtually.
I think that's which one.
Yeah, we're already. Yeah, we're practically living in VR.
We live VR.
We live, so that's why.
How do we get crypto into VR?
Because it's all going to be tied through, the internet. It's all going to be tied through the blockchain. So like that's, and also just like.
How does a coin come to exist? I feel like there's a new one every day. Like, why is it Bitcoin the only coin?
Of course, yeah. So anybody can work on a coin. Anybody can work on a project, which is why you need to do your research.
So you can create your own coin?
I could create a Landon coin. Right when we get out this interview, I could.
And what would make it worth $60,000 a coin?
Of course, the public, the community.
See, again, I feel like that's an NFT. Like, why doesn't Michael Jordan just create a coin, the MJ coin? Everybody should buy a piece, and he should double his net worth right now.
Bro, a lot of people are going to be continuing to do that. A lot of people already are, but like, trust me, like
you were showing me that one website where you make yourself a coin.
Yes, so you could actually like invest in celebrities, invest in influencers. Yeah. Very interesting concept, but bro, like we're at the cusp of Web3. We're at the beginning, and
our grandkids are going to be the ones that really thrive.
Exactly. But I talk to people all the time, like people who are maybe like 2 times older than us and made billions off of the internet. I spoke with the co-founder of Twitter, and a lot of these individuals, and a lot of these individuals mention that like what they're seeing right now is how it felt when the internet was like starting up.
Yeah.
Just like that sheer like curiosity, hope, interest, and they're seeing that now, in this crypto and this Web3 space. So I'm excited for the future. I think that there are going to be so many more companies that come alive, and which is good. I mean, that just supports, how we go further as a people, as a country, being able to create more opportunities for people, more jobs. So I just think right now, be educated on it, do your research, don't, invest in stuff you don't know about, but like at least know about it. So like that, if you do want to put some money in the crypto space.
The last question I got with the crypto is, what does mining a coin mean?
Of course, so that one, I don't have the best answer for, because like that, I've never mined a coin, but that's a whole process that I also need to do a little more research on, which is good, man. I mean, there's so much to learn. Like, there's so much, and
it's so
you
diverse.
you can't just like hop on YouTube for a day. You gotta invest in this for a minute, and just try to learn as much as you can. But there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the government recently, over the last years, they've kind of released, that obviously aliens are real. Have you experienced that, or I want to come into contact with somebody that knows somebody or something?
So I actually got drinks with an alien last night. No kidding.
Awesome.
Bro, I wish that would be tight, but I totally believe in that, man. I mean, we're not the only ones here. Like, universe is huge. Like, I find it very hard to believe that we're the only life form, and for sure we're not the most intelligent. What else is out there, bro? I mean, there were for sure other
Dude,
lives.
somebody told me something about dolphins the other day, where it's there's a dolphin birth that women can give. Either I was having a crazy dream, or somebody told me this.
What happened?
Where you can go to some place in Hawaii or something, and give birth in the ocean or something.
Wow.
And dolphins swim around
I bet
you.
that's so expensive.
But it's extremely expensive. But apparently what happens is because we're talking about intelligence, and I believe, and I could be wrong. Maybe I had this real fucked up dream, But I think I don't know who this was. Something told me, and if you're following, just this. Clearly, we know dolphins are intelligent.
Of course, probably one of the
They're
most,
one of the most intelligent animals.
That's fair.
Hey, mammal. We're gonna find out real quick. We're gonna see if dolphins are mammals, but basically they're extremely intelligent. And essentially, when you're giving birth, they can sense it.
Yeah.
And a woman's giving birth, and then give a. I think I got this on Rogan actually. They give off these sensors or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know what the hell it is, but it
ultrasound rate. I mean,
something, and it essentially almost enhances the birth.
Wow.
And almost, I don't know if it just.
Bro, imagine if we did that, we'd be 10 times more smart.
Well,
we're already pretty smart.
I think that what happened is the government kind of limited it, discovered it. I don't know if maybe that's how Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were born.
Wow.
And they're I don't know. Obviously, I'm making this shit up.
No way.
That part, but I swear to God, I think it was Joe Rogan where I heard this shit from, and you can basically believe everything on Joe Rogan.
Of course, I will check that out. But you know what?
Dope.
I love that you brought up the ocean, man, because I feel like we're very curious about what's above us, but
3%.
What the hell is below us, bro?
Let's see what percent of the ocean is discovered.
Only I think 3 to 5.
See, and I think about that and is it truly 3% or are they at
do we even know
8%?
that? Yeah, no, I don't even know. Bro, but I feel like octopus are aliens. Do you see what those things look like? I mean, there's so many species.
Calamari, and I was sitting there the other night eating calamari, and I'm gonna go again tonight. And
where do you go?
I go to Capitol Grill because I don't like going there.
You're a big fan of Capitol Grill.
Yeah, I hate the traffic.
Yeah.
So let's see what percentage of the ocean is discovered. 5% of Earth's oceans have been explored.
Allegedly, bro. We don't even know.
Yeah. So I feel like they just now told us about aliens. They've known for 400 million years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm what percent? Maybe there's actually 20% Aquamans down there, and they're having freaking whole other universe down there.
Bro, can you imagine that?
5%.
Would you so
we've lived more than 5% of our lives already.
I know, we haven't even seen anything. So James Cameron, another big director, Titanic. And,
yes.
The one with the blue people, Avatar.
They're making another one.
They are.
Yeah.
He's crazy, but he went as a part of the Titanic filming it. He I don't know if he went to the lowest point a human has ever gone in a man-made ship, but he traveled very low, and not experienced, not trained, just a fucking director. Would you do that? Would you go to the pitch black by himself in a small little pod?
I would do it.
Yeah, James Cameron, he went I wish I had the specific amount. Let me get it. But
have you ever gone skydiving?
I have not, but I would.
So I feel like it's like you're jumping out. You're like right before you're jumping out. You're like, I could fucking die, and it would probably like hurt for a split second, really bad.
You wouldn't like feel that or regret.
Yeah, but I think it would be obviously way worse drowning in a pitch black quad that's like so freezing.
Okay, so in March of 2012, James Cameron made a record-breaking solo dive to Earth's lowest point, successfully piloting a submarine nearly 11 kilometers deep to the bottom of the Marina Trench. I'll get that's 6.8 miles. That's far, bro.
Absolutely, and the water pressure, like he probably had to go in that hyperbaric chamber.
It was like that. So if that thing cracked open, like he would explode.
Oh, yeah. Would he explode or just get squeezed?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Pressure.
I don't know what
idea.
that looks like or what. But I think it would actually explode or implode.
That was another movie I really liked that they recently came out with.
Yes.
Megalodon.
Yes, yeah, that was a good one.
Was it called Megalodon?
I forgot the name of it. It was a good movie. Yeah, I love that.
I like those movies. Yeah. So that was good. And it leads me into the hyperbaric chambers. So like for like medical things, do you I did stem cell recently on my knee, and I am actually gonna go and get a consultation to get an operation.
Wow.
But I did stem cell in the beginning of the year after a jiu-jitsu incident, tore my meniscus. And I felt like pretty like I wasn't walking, and so after like the next week or so, I felt pretty like the inflammation, everything went down.
Wow.
And I got back into it way too soon and just completely ripped my knee apart. So, but like, have you had any studies or have you met with anybody and any encounters? Like, look, we brought the hyperbaric chamber. I love listening to Rogan on different things for like health and just how to like just natural remedies, because the last thing I want to do, and I hate to like just tear people apart, but I don't trust big pharma and like just put things in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I know we drink like Red Bull and people have all these arguments and shit, but it's like, just leave me alone. I don't want to put those pills in my body, or I don't want to take that whatever shots and shit like that. So with that though, what are your thoughts on like, have you heard any cool health shit or?
So I began reading a lot of Zen last year.
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty obsessed over that. But Zen discusses a lot of things, but like a big piece of Zen that like I really connected heavily with is that just mental strength.
Absolutely.
So you have a lot of people that will deteriorate.
I love when you took this.
Of course, yeah. A lot of people will like physically go through issues and deteriorate, but like it's as simple as like mentally, like if you're telling yourself that like you're gonna break down or like you're not healthy and you're not gonna survive, like that plays a big role, man. Like in the outcome for sure. So I think it all starts like with your mind, and like I would even say sometimes it's like a 50-50. Like it's we got to find ways to like improve our physical health. Obviously, a lot of that goes into what we put in our bodies. The amount of exercise we do. But at the end of the day, like what's your will to survive? Like mentally, like do you have the strength? Because that plays a big role. And like I think that it is scary sometimes, like seeing like life can change for a lot of people really quick. But I think at the root of it, you got to be really strong mentally.
And that just works for life. Success, business,
willpower,
willpower, and just how you speak to yourself is so vitally important.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's how I start my day every day. It's just the affirmations.
You're very good at that. Yeah,
dude. You got to be. You know what I mean? I think anybody that's maintaining some form of success, like you said, that fear of failure, it all kind of correlates back to like individuals that are so relentless. That's like, it's almost not even necessarily like there's no fear of failure. It's like you're just so stubborn and set on believing in yourself and loving yourself that there is no other option other than success and health and just blessings.
Exactly.
And those are the best people to be around. And from my experience, it's those stubborn people that believe so heavily in themselves that it's, hey, look, I have zero fear of failure, or I'm just a really hard worker. It's like, you really just talk good to yourself. You really think good to yourself. And that's like the cornerstone of success, is how that mind is working.
It's everything, man.
Yes.
I got one more good philosophy for you if you're ready. So because I just like love looking at like unique ways of thinking, like studying unique philosophies of philosophers, etc. I came across this one called Ikigai. Have you heard of Ikigai?
No.
So it's a Japanese philosophy. In Japanese, Ikigai pretty much means your reason for being.
Yeah.
So maybe we can pull this up like in the after, but like it's a Venn diagram with 4 circles. And it pretty much says if you're able to do and find something that encompasses each of these 4 circles, you'll find your reason for being. First off, you got to find something or do something that you love, do something that you're good at, do something that the world needs, and do something that you can get paid for. So if you're able to, again, find something that like
a
makes
reason for being.
Exactly. And I feel like I have that with my podcast now, like I'm good at it. It's paying me. The world needs it. I think everybody needs advice. So
it's four things. I think it's passion,
and you love it. Yep.
Profession, vocation, and mission.
Exactly.
And then it goes on out and guys, look this up. It's I as in ice, K as in Kit Kat, Igai, Ikigai. And then it goes out and it says what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you're good at.
Yes, sir.
I love this.
So I think, go into life and I think you found your Ikigai for sure.
Absolutely.
And more people need to think about that for sure.
I love this.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be something that you're going to do for
I'm 30, 40 years in our company group.
Good, man. I love that. Yeah. Well, in Ikigai, you can find a reason for being for a month. If you're about to start a new project and you're thinking about, okay, should I start this or should I not? Think about it. Do I love it? Am I good at it? Am I going to get paid for this? Do other people need this?
Yes, dude.
Yep. And payment also doesn't always have to be money. It can be experience.
I love you always bring it up. Anytime you guys check out any of his content, it's phenomenal. It's way better than what we're putting out right now. But it's phenomenal. And he's got such a big heart. That's what I love about you.
Appreciate you, brother.
It's
Thank you.
And it's I feel like with you, we just got this natural connection where it's we may go a month without talking. It's just one of those shoot text. It's back to normal.
Exactly.
It's
always.
And I think of that, and I think of just the value you bring everybody, and just all the amazing guests and everything that you have on your podcast, and you always bring it up. It's look, value's a two-way street, and I share. I'm look, dude, check out this other dude. He's young, he's crushing it, just like us, and he's right. Reciprocity is a major key, and again, another cornerstone to success. Stop
100%.
Asking without giving, and the best leaders, they don't even ask; they just give.
Exactly.
The best people, they truly have a servant heart, and it's hey, look, here's what I got. Hope it adds value, and whatever the world and God wants to pour back into you, let it be.
Exactly.
There's more. When you have an abundance mindset, and I already know you do. Mm-hmm. It's look, I'm going to give, and it's just because the world has so much to give back to me. I don't need to ask. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens. You attract. I love this. One of the dudes I introduced you today. He's really intelligent. His name's Spencer Allen.
Yeah.
And so he works here, and he does a lot of other things as well. He's good with the crypto and stocks and real estate. Nice. And, he was saying, we were meeting this morning, he's dude, the biggest thing with me is because he was one of our clients, we're in financial services, hit him up for $3 million of insurance. Big product, that's a big policy, good sale. And I was would you follow up with him? He was nah. And I was because sales is big thing is follow up.
Of course, always.
He's with me, and I love this. And he's dude, I'm always so open. I'm dude, do what you want. Maybe it'll work. Maybe we can change and we can grow. 10%. That'll just completely impact the company so greatly. And he's look, I don't chase because I live in a mindset of attract.
Love that.
If I start chasing and I chase here and I chase there and I chase there, now I've got this foundation of chasing. And when you start to chase, you're telling the universe that you need and that you're lacking. And the universe doesn't necessarily it doesn't kind of decipher from what I've read, you saying you need and you don't need. It just kind of corresponds with your energy. So if you're saying out there please help, it's almost you're putting out there that you don't, you know what I mean? If that makes sense?
Exactly, bro.
And it kind of works in the opposite
There's some
way.
bars. No, I agree 100%. Always a two-way street, man. Before I go into any situation, thinking about what other people can give me, I'm constantly thinking what can I do for other people? And you got to lead like that. It doesn't matter if you have a podcast, doesn't matter if you have this type of business, doesn't matter if you're doing this. If you go into situations wanting to give first, it always ends up working out. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad that we've realized that young though, because a lot of people never do, man. Never realize that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Favorite book and favorite music as we wrap up?
That's a great question. Favorite book.
Maybe a top 3 in each, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm. Let me think really hard about that. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
Is a really good one. Principles by Ray Dalio.
Yes.
Really good.
Great book.
Yeah.
Long book.
It's a big
All
one.
his books are big, dude.
Yeah, but very effective.
Absolutely.
The types of books that make you want to reread them, check them out again. I'd say The Alchemist is really good. I'm big into business books and stuff.
Yeah.
But, that's probably the one where it's a good story.
Yeah, I think that on my list because I think it's one of Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, one of them. I wanted to go through their top 10s.
Yeah.
Over this last year, and I'm kind of wrapping up on their top 10s.
Yeah.
Most of them have been audiobooks because it's just kind of shit that I'm not going to need to know. It's more like I was telling you, trying to understand their minds.
Of course.
But that's dope. And the music, we just did that. Do it. That was a dope song.
Yeah, that was a dope song.
Is that like your?
Gotta put that in the
favorite
description of the.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite artist or a favorite like song? Or
so I grew up like old school. Like,
Same.
I always had old soul, so like
Same.
soul, jazz. I mean, bro, like Motown was like elite for me growing up. So I love that, man. Like a favorite song, like "At Last" by Etta James. Like really one of my favorite.
That's a solid
songs.
song.
Yeah, really good. But I like love hip hop as well. I also grew up like around
old hip hop too.
Old hip hop, bro. Mobb Deep, Jay-Z, Nas. And also West Coast. I give any West Coast people love there. You know, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Snoop, Tupac. I mean, bro, there's so much good music, but damn, like, what am I listening to right now? That's a better question. I mean, I listen to a lot of Drake. We're both black and Jewish, so we gotta show love there.
He's a goat, bro.
Yeah, he's a goat, man.
I went to that. So in Nashville, they took us to a lot of songwriters. So we got Lady A, like All Personable, like that. It was dope. But come to find out, like all these artists just like buy songs.
Interesting.
Like everybody we love, they buy those songs.
Wow.
So they might help write, but it's like almost like 70%, like probably more like 30 to 40% of the time, they're just buying the song.
I remember Drake got into that ghostwriter stuff. Yeah, like a few years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, unless he's one of those unique people, but like from all these professional artists I mean with, they're like, yeah, dude, we buy our shit.
Yeah. Which is why, I mean, this is, probably a great full circle.
It broke my heart.
I didn't know, it is crazy. Like
Aiden's heart just got broken.
These people are not, like, writing the song. But you do have great artists that, like, obviously have, like, you know, Michael Jackson, etc.
Yeah.
But that's why your personal brand, like, you know, who you are online matters so much.
Absolutely.
Because, like, people think that, like, you know, a lot of these individuals are writing songs, but at the end of the day, they just have such strong audiences, and the brands are just huge.
But I get torn on that because you'll see these very talented musicians freestyle when it comes to the hip-hop artists and things like that. So it's like,
do you think that's like a key indicator, like, of?
I feel like it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's see you freestyle, because like if you can really powerfully freestyle. So I feel like the real thing with music isn't necessarily just to have a word play, but it's almost more to have a heart play. What can you make someone feel?
That's fire.
You know what I mean? For me, my music's always, how do you make them feel? Yeah. Because I don't even hear the lyrics. For me, I hear the rhythm, and I hear like the true music, and then the lyrics is kind of like the cherry on the cake, or whatever the fuck it would be for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's definitely a hard thing.
That's cool, bro.
And when you see freestylers that like really go off, that's kind of the thing. I know you gotta take off, right? Yeah,
I do got one more book though, if it's okay.
Yes.
I'll just leave your listeners with this. It's called Measure What Matters. It's by John Dewar. Yeah. And it speaks about this principle called KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. Yeah. I think that we go into.
I'm gonna write it down.
Sorry, not KPI. That's another book. These are called OKRs, Objective Key Results. So I think in just giving a broad view example, like a lot of times we want to do things. We want to make podcasts. We want to, get on our basketball team. We want to, make a new hobby, etc. But those are like broad statements, bro. Like, those are just big objectives. But how do we actually like know how we're getting there? So you got to give yourself an objective. That's a big thing that you want. And then the KRs, the key results.
I'm writing this down.
Try and give like actual things that can help you get there. So if you want to make a podcast, okay, that's my big objective. Yeah. One key result is I'm going to have to interview X amount of people. I'm going to have to, put out like X amount of episodes over X amount of months. So that's like, those are physical things you can actually cross out. And like they have numbers attached to them too, so you know if you're
doing it. And who's this by again?
John Dewar.
John Dewar has been a fucking doer since.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big name, right?
Let's go, Dewar. That's awesome. So, wrapping up here, again, we have Landon Campbell. Where can they find you?
Of course.
What can you advertise? Please take advantage of the two listeners.
Of course. Well, first, let me give you a reason to check my stuff out because, we lead with value.
Yes.
If you want the best advice from the most successful people, you should check out my content. We've interviewed people like the co-founder of Apple, co-founder of Twitter, big angel investors, huge athletes, Hall of Fame athletes, politicians. So again, I'm just trying to share the best advice for people.
Who's your favorite? Wozniak?
Wozniak, for sure. I mean, him talking about
Guys,
creating Apple.
Wozniak. He brings the most value.
The founder of this,
Yes.
all this,
What all of you should have.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's my name 3 times, Landon, like Beetlejuice. Say it 3 times. And then on Twitter, it's Landon20s.
Yes.
And the podcast is called In Their 20s. Find it at intheir20s.com.
Yep.
On our socials. Bro, this was a pleasure though. I really enjoyed this so much, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you, and a little special rest in peace to your boy.
I appreciate that.
Michael.
Thank you.
Love. Rest in peace, brother.
Thank you.
So let's go. Peace, dog.